5वां नंबर टेप डाल दिया।
कितना टेप्स लाए?
12। बस 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 जा पे
अभी ब्लैंक ले रहा हूँ।
मेरा वो सन ऊपर आ रहा है, बर्बाद
आने
है।
दो, ऊपर आने दो तो फिर कुछ मिलेगा कांच।
सन बगैर सन के तुमको मिलेगा ही नहीं।
It's not just the sun, it's the fog also which is there.
सन थोड़ा सा आप आ जाएगा तो फॉग थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा अपना।
हाँ हाँ हाँ, कंचनजंगा में क्या था यार, सन।
हो गया तुम्हारा रिकॉर्ड?
विमल कहाँ से लेने वाला शॉट?
यहाँ से पैन करके ये
तरफ, मतलब एक कैमरा गलत जगह पे।
पे।
हाँ, कैमरा गलत जगह पे।
एक मिनट जरा देखो, वहाँ से ही कर देते हैं।
ओके छोटे
कैसे पहले करना? ये ले लेता हूँ, अगर नहीं लेकर आया तो मैं के लिए नहीं ले लेता, ले लेता। उधर ही खड़ा हो जाए। चलो पैन करवाना।
यस सर।
Action.
आज धर्मशाला में बहुत ही खूबसूरत दिन है और हमारी खुशनसीबी भी यह है कि विश्व में मशहूर द वर्ल्ड फेमस दलाई लामा से अमल सुरभि में मुलाकात हो रही है। तो स्वागत कीजिए विनर ऑफ द नोबेल पीस प्राइज हिज होलीनेस द दलाई लामा। योर होलीनेस, पहले मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा कि टिबेटन मेडिसिन की क्या खासियत है, उसकी अच्छाइयाँ क्या हैं, उसकी बुराइयाँ क्या हैं? Your Holiness, I'd like to first start by asking you about Tibetan medicine, which has won a lot of acclaim. What do you think are the advantages and disadvantages of Tibetan medicine?
Action.
We are fortunate this beautiful summer morning in Dharamshala in northern India to have as our guest none other than the world famous personality known all over the world. Repeat that. We are fortunate and privileged this fine summer morning in Dharamshala to have as a guest in our program none other than the world famous Dalai Lama. I'd like you to welcome His Holiness, winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, the Dalai Lama himself. Your Holiness, I'd like to begin with a question on Tibetan medicine. What, in your opinion, are the advantages and disadvantages of Tibetan medicine? I'm going to now continue. Shall I continue the other questions? All right. How have you yourself benefited from Tibetan medicine? खुद आपको टिबेटन औषधियों से किस तरह से लाभ मिला है? खुद आपको टिबेटन औषधियों से लाभ कैसे मिला है? What is the role of diet in one's health? खान पान की कोई restrictions हैं आपकी टिबेटन मेडिसिन में? अच्छा. What is a healthy lifestyle? आपके दिन भर का रूटीन कैसा है in terms of health? आपका सबसे फेवरेट खाना क्या है? What is your favorite meal? A particular dish, something that you like very much? कुछ खास एक चीज़? हिंदुस्तान के खाने में कोई आप चीज़, हिंदुस्तानी खाने में आप कुछ पसंद करते हैं? Something that you like as far as Indian food is concerned? Okay. योर होलीनेस, एक क्वेश्चन मैं ये पूछूंगा कि अगर आप दलाई लामा नहीं बनते तो क्या बनते? रिपीट. योर होलीनेस, मैं ये आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा कि अगर आप दलाई लामा नहीं बनते तो फिर क्या बनते? योर होलीनेस, इफ यू वर नॉट टू हैव बिकम द दलाई लामा, what would your profession have been? Would you have been an engineer, a repairer of clocks, projectors? How would you have used your mechanical expertise? पहले पहले जब आप हिंदुस्तान आए तो पंडित नेहरू जी की क्या आपकी यादें हैं? What are your memories of पंडित नेहरू? पंडित नेहरू जी की आपकी क्या यादें हैं? पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी की यादें क्या हैं आपकी? पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी की क्या आपकी यादें हैं? Do you feel that by adopting such self-restraint in your approach to world problems, you haven't actually let down the people of Tibet? क्या आपको लगता है कि जिस तरह का आपने तरीका अपनाया है अपने लोगों के साथ और जिस तरह से आप उनको एक पॉलिसी प्रीच करते हैं, आपको क्या लगता है कि लोग लेट डाउन फील करते हैं, आपसे एक ज़्यादा पॉजिटिव एक्शन चाहते हैं? डू यू फील दैट यू हैव एक्चुअली you may be letting down the Tibetan people? आपको अपनी खामियां क्या महसूस होती हैं? What do you think are your weaknesses? Are you very careful about money? They say stingy. Would you say you're stingy? आप पैसे बहुत संभल के खर्चते हैं क्या? हाँ, मुझे मालूम है कि आपके पास कोई पैसे नहीं होते हैं, लेकिन अगर आपके पास होते तो आप खर्चते आराम से। अगर आपके पास होते तो आप खर्चते। Something I think that the world needs to ponder over. Your Holiness, is celibacy actually natural as a lifestyle? जिंदगी भर शादी नहीं करना, इससे क्या लाभ मिलते हैं? क्या ये सही है? योर होलीनेस, जब आप आम लोगों का दर्शन करते हैं या आम लोगों का दर्शन आपको होता है गलत, हाँ, अभी क्या है? हाँ,
सेलिब्रेसी के बारे में आपने बात की। द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
हाँ, मैं पहले चले जाता हूँ। जी हाँ।
एक्शन के प्रति
पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी के प्रति आपकी क्या यादें हैं? योर होलीनेस, अगर आपके पास बहुत सारे पैसे होते तो आप किस तरह से खर्च करते? हाँ, योर होलीनेस, अगर आपके पास बहुत सारे पैसे होते तो आप उसे कैसे खर्च करते? खर्च करते भी? हाँ, जब लोग आपके दर्शन के लिए यहाँ आते हैं तो वो आपसे क्या पूछते हैं, क्या मांगते हैं? When the people come here to meet with you, perhaps to seek your blessings, what do they ask you? What do they want from you? Tsaring, can I ask you one question? Does he know any Hindi?
Very little, very little.
थोड़ा सा जानते हैं ना?
No, but I think you better stick to the English. Yeah. He may not be able to converse.
Let me ask him the question.
No, he will not be able to understand.
नहीं, converse की बात नहीं है. Can you say a few lines?
Okay.
Excuse me.
Rolling. Action.
Your Holiness, at the end, some message for our people, perhaps in Hindi. Shukriya. Thank you very much.
Right.
I see. Really? अच्छा. True. Okay. All right. Okay, fine. Okay. Thank you. Next interview after this is
Immediately after this, we have a couple of audiences.
2 o'clock.
Rolling, finish.
Yeah.
Okay. Action.
Do you think by practicing do you think by advocating non-violence you're actually letting down the Tibetan people in their desire for self-determination? Do you think by advocating just non-violence you're not letting down the Tibetan people?
People are walking behind you. Please, यहाँ पे साइड में आ जाइए।
What do you call non-violent in Hindi? Ahimsa.
Roll. Okay. Bimala. Action.
क्या अपने प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व करने के लिए, आई डोंट हैव द लैंग्वेज, हाँ, ये क्या ये अहिंसा का रास्ता जो आप अपना रहे हैं वो आप उससे लोगों को निराश तो नहीं कर रहे हैं? चलिए। We present this program. It goes on India's prime time. Every week. This is the longest running program on Indian television. And I believe a lot of people here in Dharamshala watch this program. We had the privilege, Your Highness, of featuring your interview in November. When this is Javed, our sound recordist, our camera person, Bimal from Bengal. This is all integration out here. Babu is from Odisha. So we are all very happy. You're all in this. Come sit here. This program, last year we get many letters, Your Holiness. We get nearly 1 lakh letters every week from all over India, as you can see. It's just a cultural subject. But last year we featured your interview when you released the Marg publication on Tibetan culture.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Right.
That was upstairs. And with your permission, sir, may I have your little autograph on this beautiful book of yours? Thank you.
How to pronounce your name?
Sidharth.
Sidharth, yes, Sidharth.
Gautam Buddha. And I think Sidharth means the truth. And we search for it,
Yes,
sir.
Sidharth. Tibetan translation.
Yes.
Something like, say,
Fulfillment of our wish, desire.
yes, something like that.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, today my Siddharth has been fulfilled. Coming with मेरा बिमल shadow तो नहीं पड़ रहा है वहाँ पे. So you want me to shift back a little bit? ठीक है. This is your date, is it? You have a beautiful flowing handwriting. Is that part of the training that you have at the in monastic discipline? How to calligraphy?
Not necessarily the monastery.
No.
Everyone. I think everyone.
All of them have to write. What have you written?
learns it.
What have you written here, sir?
To Siddharth,
जी हाँ.
with my prayer have a blessing for the success all the time. Then Buddhist bhikshu, Dalai Lama.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for giving us time today, Your Holiness. Today, actually, we are here to cover different aspects of Tibetan culture for our program. So our team is here for 3 or 4 days. One of the things we are going to cover is Tibetan medicine, because we believe that not too many people know about Tibetan medicine. We are also going to do something on Tibetan performing arts. Then a general overview of Tibetan lifestyle out here. He wants to fit your microphone. I think we would be very keen to look at the educational pattern, how the young children are learning.
Yeah, put here. More safer, more stable. This one is moving.
So ours is we will be running short stories, each one of 5 or 6 minutes. And perhaps on Monday morning when you have your public darshan out here, we would just like to film a little bit of those sequences and show to our people how all of you are living here with courage in your place here. So I would like to tell you that we have a viewership of nearly 100 million people every week. They watch this program with great affection because we look at the cultural insights and perhaps introduce aspects of India's culture to people who are not familiar anymore. And such a large country, different parts of our country don't know other parts of the country as well. So our interview today with you is a very important high point. And next week we are celebrating our 250th episode, 7 years of telecast. So we'll be privileged to feature this interview sometime in your program. So should we begin today's brief interview? You find you find it very hot, is it? Even here at Dharamshala?
Okay.
Was it? Is it
But
much warmer than
this
Tibet?
year seems unusually still in May, still quite not very hot.
Yeah.
Not very hot. Usually May, June, quite hot.
But in Lhasa, for instance, what was the weather? Never used to be like this. As
I
warm
think in
as
the sunny day in summer in Lhasa, later quite hot, becoming quite warm.
so that June, July would have been.
I think daytime in the sun.
Yes.
Maybe I think more or less I think same
I see.
here. Now this day,
Right.
this temperature.
Right.
But one I think big difference is, you see here, particularly during monsoon, immediate after monsoon,
Yes.
a lot of humidity. And Lhasa, dry climate.
Okay.
So when you see too much wet,
Yeah.
you feel very uncomfortable.
How about the land, as far as the Tibet, for growing things in terms of fertility of the soil? How is that?
Oh, southern part of Tibet, I think very good, very good. And also, the Zhang area, Shikatse,
Yeah.
the monastery of Pension Lamas, that area also is very good. I think very good fertile, good land. And usually these, I think, area usually call wheat belt. Wheat belt.
Right.
Then northeast, Gongbo area, some area quite low. I think maybe 6,000 feet.
Right.
So the whole year, you see, remain green. Some area, like some part of, you see, the Himalayan, foothill, you see, area.
That's right.
Some area. Then, of course, the northern part of Tibet, very high and cold. I think May, June, I think still snow falling.
Oh yeah, but this is only 5,000-6,000 feet. There you would be going up to 18, 20,000.
12,000.
Yes, yes.
And these, I think, high area, high plateau,
That's
perhaps
right.
I think 13, 14,000 feet.
But you know, you left at such an early age. Did you get a chance to really move around that entire area of Tibet? It's such a huge.
Oh,
vast-
certainly not the entire. I think fortunately, 54, I went to China.
That's right.
So by road.
That
so
was a
there,
very, yes.
that time, you see, I had the opportunity, you see different area. Of course, on the side of road.
Yeah.
Then beyond that, and then of course the first long journey, that is from my birthplace to Lhasa, 2 months, but also caravan. What called? Caravan is in
But
trouble.
you were only 3-4 years old at that time.
Then I was 4 years old.
But do you remember all that?
I think some experience, I mean, some occasion, I think still a very, very clear memory, but okay.
So do you think you'll ever get to see any of those places again?
I'm quite sure. I think, of course, every Tibetan, I mean, who are in exile, of course, everyone have the great hope. And also some reasons, I believe, the things are changing, I think, quite rapidly. Then in China itself, although the outwardly it's the same government, it's the same constitution, it's
Yes.
the same system, one party rule or authoritarian. However, I think today's China compared 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, much already changed. So therefore, I think the People's Republic of China is in the process of changing.
And that is hopeful.
So, and then other side is the Tibetan side, you see the Tibetan spirit, very, very strong, very strong. Even if those younger generation, the new generation, who born, you see, they under new circumstances.
Yes.
But you see, the Tibetan spirit is, I think, even stronger than previous generation.
But tell me, Your Holiness, this is a
So
matter.
therefore,
Yeah.
I have some reason. You see, the things will change definitely.
No, what you say is extremely encouraging, but the only thing in my mind, I'm just trying to understand that if I were in an ordinary Tibetan person's place living here in Dharamshala, would I not want to get back to my hometown with more aggressive measures? Do you feel this so much of self-restraint is actually not letting down the people of Tibet out here? Don't you think they want you to be more positive, to get back?
No. As my sort of the way of struggle, way of approach to this problem is strictly through non-violent principle, which of course the India is a tradition.
That's true.
I think whole Tibetan way of life and way of thinking, I think learned from you, from India. So of course the ahimsa philosophy,
Yes.
through centuries, that's one of the India's, I think, rich cultural heritage. And then in modern time, the Mahatma Gandhi implemented, you see, that rich philosophy in modern political field or freedom struggle. So since my childhood, I had very strong sort of attraction towards that. And then you say, in our case, after all, you see, I think the positive solution or satisfactory solution must find between Chinese and Tibetan, no one else. Of course, other brothers, sisters, particularly India, you see, can help a lot. But the actual solution must find agreement, must find between Chinese and Tibetan. And for that, you see, support from the Chinese community, besides the government, the Chinese public side, is a support for our cause. It's very essential. For that reason, you see, my approach, the non-violent, strictly non-violent, and the more compassionate, you see, the attitude, that although government level, this is so far up to now, you see, no concrete result, you see, happen. However, in the public side, particularly among the Chinese intellectuals and thinkers and writers, Now, time goes, more and more now people from that category now openly support for our cause. I think this is very, very encouraging. So, it's my way of approach, more compassionate, more peaceful. I think sometimes in emotional level, sometimes we feel, oh, we want something very quickly.
Yes.
But that's, I think, emotional sort of level.
But how long will people wait?
That's difficult. But now here, now more than 38 years,
Yes, sir.
we settle in this country. Fortunately, the support from the public as well as the government.
True.
I think the Tibetan refugee community here in this country, I think, become one of the most successful refugee community because of your help. Your help is a blessing. There's no doubt. I think, although almost now more than almost now 4 decades, almost now, they already passed. But generations, new generations coming. But Tibetan spirit remain very strong, and our determination is very strong. Not only outside, but even inside Tibet also. So, I think that through my own experience, if you involve non-violent struggle, you need more patience and more determination.
And probably the results are more lasting.
Yes, that's right.
Maybe
that's right.
at the end of it. But you know, very interesting that you mentioned about Mahatma Gandhi ji. Among the other things that he practiced was satyagraha, which was very successful against British rule. Would you consider satyagraha as a means, which is also non-violent?
Yes, among Tibetan, of course, this idea very, very attractive. So many people actually they talk a lot about that. I think in principle, I think we last now 48 I think almost now I think more than 46, 7 years since Chinese occupation.
Yes.
I think basically we are very much in the spirit of satyagraha sort of struggle.
Satyagraha, actually.
Yes. But now the difference is sometimes inside Tibet, disobedience and some kind of non-cooperation. These the British role in India and communist role in Tibet. Big differences. I think now this moment, and then also the India's case, the British, of course, the technology and I think the military forces, I think their side is very, very, very strong. But India, not small country, very big country, isn't it?
That's right. So that
now, in our case,
yes,
these are a big difference. But I think one I think good thing, one I think positive differences, during India's freedom movement, I think India alone carried the main, I think, effort or struggle.
Right.
I think less sort of, I think, support from outside.
That's true.
But our case,
You have a lot of
I think worldwide is sympathy and concern and moral support there.
Yes.
That I think one of our advantage. Otherwise, our case, I mean, frankly speaking, very weak. Only our strength is truth.
Truth.
And honesty. This is my feeling. And also the Tibetan struggle, in my mind, is the main purpose or main goal of our struggle is preservation of Tibetan Buddhist culture as well as Buddhist spirituality.
True.
Now this, I believe, the Buddhist culture or Buddhism have great potential to create happier society, peaceful community or society. Therefore, the Tibetan Buddhist culture, which today now facing threat of extinction, now this once survive and they continue, I feel it will not only bring benefit for 6 million Tibetan people, but also larger people in this part of the world.
Indeed. And in fact,
And today, I mean, even among the Chinese also, I feel, first of all, the Buddhism is not alien in the minds of Chinese.
True.
And traditionally, the many Tibetan lamas, the spiritual masters, visited China and gave teachings through centuries in China, through centuries. So therefore, I think Tibetan Buddhism, if we survive, then I think we can help to the millions of young Chinese in order to provide some kind of value of human life, I think. Today, the Chinese case, in China proper, the Marxist ideology may not be very correct, but somehow that if you have belief, that ideology give you some purpose.
Strength, faith.
But once that no longer there, and then Chinese own traditional teaching or the moral ethics such as Confucius' moral ethics, these also is not there. So and then I think Western influence, those I think the democracy, these some good things. I mean not come on, not how to say, not established.
Right.
But then some superficial Western, today's culture.
Right.
Some
Little veneer.
These I think sometimes harmful. I feel. So now today China. I think that's exactly now happening. Now whereas India, although the similar sort of I think the tendency, Western sort of superficial culture, but you see the long traditional rich cultural heritage is still very much alive in this country.
It is so.
So and also the democracy. I think one of the Western good thing. That also I think deep rooted in this country.
Yeah.
So therefore, in a way, I think in certain field, I think India's sort of cultural heritage is more stronger than Chinese case, because it's China. They are long traditional, I think they stable or sound cultural basis. Now,
vanished in a
yes,
second.
vanished.
Yeah. So you don't have that moral standing.
So therefore, in any way, the Tibetan struggle, my main concern is the preservation of Tibetan Buddhist culture. So therefore, this is something I feel not just the political, the attitude of victory one side,
right.
defeat other side,
right.
not that way.
No.
So therefore, our goal, our struggle, a goal of our struggle is something mutual, beneficial. This is my feeling. So sometimes I do feel indirectly I'm helping the Chinese.
But you never feel depressed that maybe it's taking too long?
Sometimes, a little bit, but then go quickly. That's I think as I mentioned before, you see the Tibetan way of life and the way of thinking is very much influenced from Siddhartha, Buddha Shakyamuni. Elder Siddhartha, Buddha Shakyamuni, and Nagarjuna, all these Shantadeva, all these great masters.
Yes, sir.
I think their spiritual teaching, according to my own little experience, marvelous. That really, they strengthen deep human value, inner value or inner potential. Really, I think develop properly if you follow, the teaching of these great masters.
One very important teaching of the Tibetan way of life is its approach and attitude to medicine, health. And this is one thing I specifically wish to ask you about. I mean, I do understand the holistic approach. It has some resemblance, I believe, to Ayurveda as well. But what do you think, honestly, as a person who's observed the system, are both the advantages and disadvantages too, of the Tibetan style of medicine, in your opinion? What would you say?
I think the system, as you rightly mentioned, the whole holistic sort of system, very good. And you see the way of what do you call diagnosis?
Diagnosis,
through
yes, pulse
or
diagnosis.
check urine. Through these is a way. If you see Tibetan physician who really qualified or experienced, or they can really make almost like prediction. So really it's a great thing, great thing. Then I think the disadvantage or disadvantage or the negative side or drawback side, I think the way making medicine and you see taking the I think the way making medicine, I think you see with modern technology we can take the essence and it's a small pill and also through injection or some other ways. I think that can be done.
Could be
So
standardized.
the way of doing medicine or making medicine, that's a little bit I think the old fashioned.
Oh, right. So we could bring modern technology as well as hygiene into the making of the medicine.
That's right.
But nothing can ever replace the diagnosis or the intuition or the interpretation that each doctor has.
Because that's right. Some you see young you see Tibetan younger you see Tibetan physician.
Yes.
They also you see using some is the modern.
Oh, they use stethoscope and
yes.
that's very good actually.
That's good. Yes, that's good. No problem. No problem.
But
I think that's
is that being accepted now by the practitioners of Tibetan medicine?
Oh yes, yes. Although I think the difficult you see to study both simultaneously, Tibetan medical system and allopathic medical system. Otherwise, they eventually I think it's worthwhile to put some attempt. You see, there's some physician who study both tradition. So it's a practice simultaneously.
Right.
Although it's a different, I think the different system, and also I think the attitude or philosophy or culture, I think some differences. However, still, I think in important matter, I think still, I think the common sort of, I think the common views and common ideas.
Common objective, obviously.
Yes.
How have you benefited yourself, Your Holiness, from Tibetan medicine? In what areas?
Except a few occasions, if you see some high temperature comes, then sometimes I take some allopathic medicine. Otherwise, you see, my devotion to Tibetan medicine, not allopathic medicine. I always take you see, Tibetan medicine.
What do you take it for? I mean, what's a symptom and how do you treat it?
The habit,
Yes.
belief is when your health good, no particular illness, then you see the Tibetan medicine. I think they're very good. You see, taking Tibetan medicine according to your body's the element situation.
You mean as a preventive?
Yes, that's right.
Ah.
So you see your whole body system, you see, make more balance.
Okay.
So that even you see this difficult to get cold or some other illness, but even you get very quickly
Resistance. You build up your internal resistance.
Recover, yes.
Right. So this afternoon I'm going to go and check it. Okay.
So I think this is my suggestion, according to my own experience. If you really get sick, then I think take allopathic medicine. But if you are fit, then during that period you take Tibetan medicine.
I think that's a very excellent idea.
So
benefit from both the things.
Don't want to find any complaint about Tibetan medicine because you are fit. I mean, actually, you see, very good. You see, for improve your digestion or I think all physical function.
What
you see,
about
Tibetan medicine?
Yes.
Take regularly,
Yes.
year by year,
Yes.
and of course, you see, according, I mean, from time to time, check by the qualified physician. Your body element, usually is our description, something like, explanation, something like the heat, solid or liquid, then air, vayu.
Yeah, the
These
principles.
is the air, yes, these, if your body, the heat element increase, then accordingly, although you see the person still very fit,
Yes.
healthy,
Yes.
but some you see the element little stronger.
Fine tuning.
That's right. then you see you should take according to that situation. Otherwise, you see you can take regularly, or it really gives you strength.
Anything to do with diet, Your Holiness? I mean, do you have to
yes.
practice a diet?
Oh, particular no,
No diet.
no, everything.
You don't.
That's
You have no diet.
That's right.
I mean, do you have
Kala.
any restrictions in your food?
Kalarva. Of course, when since my childhood, and also I think 65, I got a severe
Hepatitis.
hepatitis.
I believe so.
So this, according to some as a medical check,
Yes.
they say some slight sort of the traces of that
Still are there.
find in liver. So so usually I avoid avoid the fat, the
Fatty meats.
too
and
much.
so on.
Too much. Oiling.
Yes. Oily
Oh,
food.
correct.
Spicy.
Oily, yes.
Spicy and oily food.
Otherwise, as a Buddhist monk, no restriction.
What is your
Anything can be
What is your favorite meal? What is your
Favorite?
favorite food?
noodle
Yeah. Really? Noodle soup? or
and chapati. But particularly I think one Punjabi, what called they?
naan?
Oh, naan, yes. That
Oh.
I love that.
No, but you must you must eat the naan with something. What would you eat the naan with?
Some vegetable and some curry like that.
Okay. Any particular Indian?
You know, 65 to I think 67 or 2 years. Oh yes, I think the jaundice. I think 67. I got this jaundice. As a result of my diet changed.
Yeah.
Then almost 2 years I remain complete sort of vegetarian, strict vegetarian.
Right.
No egg, no fish, nothing.
Right.
So during that period, I took a lot of nut.
Okay. Almonds and cashew nuts. And
Yes,
so on.
that's right.
Oh, I
That's
see.
right.
That's a lot of heat. Generates a lot of heat in the system.
So since then, my diet returned my sort of previous diet. So I mean, basically, it's a non-vegetarian.
What time would you just describe? Say what time you would have what? What time would you have your first meal, for instance, and what would you have?
Oh, as a Buddhist monk, no dinner,
No dinner.
lunch, and breakfast. So because no dinner, so from early morning I feel very hungry. usually before breakfast I almost like what to call hungry ghost. What was called hungry ghost.
They're running about in the stomach.
That's right. So in India, usually about 5 by breakfast.
5 o'clock in the morning, sir?
Yes.
And what would you have at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Oh,
What would you eat at 5 o'clock in the morning?
now these days, I think something like a combination on what called porridge,
Porridge,
sometimes porridge
All right.
and conflict,
Very good.
and
No,
then another thing what we call what's muslini?
Oh,
What
with
called?
fruits and things inside.
Yes.
That's very
That-
healthy. But would you have them both, or you'd have them separate? Would have some-
Occasionally, so sometimes you see
One or the other.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And then usually you see tamba, our traditional diet, Tibetan diet. Tsamba.
What is that exactly?
That's I think barley, roasted barley,
Yes.
and made a powder. So that powder is put in your bowl.
Right. Put some water on it.
Usually you see sometimes water, sometimes you see milk, sometimes tea. But in my case, milk,
Okay. You
and
like
with some piece of butter,
that. Okay.
and then some that powder put,
Uh-huh.
and then a lot of work by your finger.
You have to.
If you are not very familiar, then all sambas come here, and then you have to look
Take it off your hand.
But if you experience,
Yeah, you
if
make
you
it a
have,
little ball.
then like some Indian, take food with
their
the
hand,
finger,
yeah.
but finger I mean very clean. But sometimes there's a lot of things
It's a
similar.
very special, yes, yeah. But the taste is like what? It's a salty taste. It doesn't taste. It's bland taste.
Huh? Bland. Oh, bland.
It's a bland taste. Well,
Or then sometimes of course, you see some dry cheese. Dry cheese also is good.
You don't like that?
Sometimes with sugar. So then you see little how to say
Oh, I
sweet.
see. You add a little cheese to sampa. This is
Dry
something
cheese.
very
Dry
interesting.
cheese.
I see.
So morning my breakfast like combination modern, half modern,
Half traditional. Half traditional.
Then lunch. Usually, as I mentioned earlier, is a noodle. That's my favorite.
With soup.
Yes, and some vegetable. And then now, the last I think since a few years, is my diet. One day vegetarian, one day non-vegetarian. So that means at least 6 months remain vegetarian.
But you're talking about Tibetan-style vegetables and Tibetan-style non-vegetarian? Or
Or
Indian
mainly,
style?
mainly Tibetan style. Tibetan means here mainly you see they are like very similar. You see that of Chinese you see
Fine.
food, and then also you see I love the Indian. I think as far as vegetarian food is concerned, it seems I think the Japanese and the Chinese vegetarian food, see appearance very beautiful, but I think real taste, I think Indian vegetarian food seems to see better. That I noticed.
But only it has a little bit of oil in it, which you have to be careful about.
Right, that's right.
That's
But as the taste is concerned,
yes, sir.
see the Indian vegetarian food.
Yeah,
Oh, very good.
with the naan. So, but then there's a long period after this. Then you have a cup of tea only around 6 or 7 in the evening.
Evening, yes, 6 usually my evening tea. Evening tea.
And you don't eat anything with that?
If my stomach is still full, or as a result of have good lunch, then remain fasting.
Yeah.
If you see the lunch time not very satisfactory,
You'll have a little bit.
then a few biscuits.
Okay. But this has something to do with the cycle? I mean, do you good in your body not to eat after 6 o'clock in the evening?
The reason is Buddha made this rule. The less sleep, and then you can get early, get up earlier.
Early in the morning.
Early in the morning.
Right.
That's I think main.
You begin your
purpose.
meals in the morning and finish them early,
Yes.
so that you get up early again.
And I think according to my friend, the evening or late evening, if you remain at least with less food or light food,
Yeah,
it's better for health also, isn't it?
that's true. That's true. I mean, in fact, it says the natural cycles are that in the evening you should actually, there's a period of assimilation. And in the morning you shouldn't be eating, you can eat in the morning, but in the night you should have a light stomach so that you can assimilate what you've eaten. One different question now, Your Holiness, and this pertains to your interest in certain mechanical and modern things. Sometimes it occurs to me that if you were not to have been chosen, the chosen one, the Dalai
Yes.
Lama of the Tibetan people, what would you have become?
Most probably, I think, the craftsman or mechanic. I think that most probably.
But
Sometimes I do feel if I remain my own birthplace area, this is farm, although the hilly sort of area, not flat. Difficult is to use the tractors, these things. But otherwise, I think most probably in the farm, our farmer with tractor, some machine. I think that's most probably.
and you'd repair the tractor yourself.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
But what
From my childhood,
Yeah.
I found to look these machines,
Yeah.
and then you see a lot of curiosity. You see how it work, and also you see they use my screwdrivers
Screwdriver,
using my hand. That you see, as a result, a lot of how say
Lot of
what we call-
scratches.
Yes.
On your- But tell me, Your Holiness, I mean, have you analyzed what it is that you were drawn to and attracted to in these mechanical things? Why were you attracted to that? What is it in your temperament that has attracted you to that?
I don't know. Since my childhood, when I saw one bicycle, I think from my almost even in my birthplace area.
Yes.
You see, near my birthplace, there's one big town. There are already some cycles there. So some kind of sort of vivid memory, some attraction.
Yeah.
So these
Like wheels
yes.
moving.
Oh. So I think somehow I don't know.
But don't you think that this?
Then of course, after I came to Lhasa, then I think one reason, one factor, maybe at that time one movie projector.
Yes,
I love to see a movie. There's a movie projector by what was called hand
drawn or
yes.
hand
Oh.
moved. Yeah.
So since one pair.
So sometimes the picture would go fast, sometimes it would go slow, depending on how you move it.
No. So these two projector, which of course belong to third Dalai Lama. So of course, firstly I think old mission, and secondly I think maintenance not that good.
Right.
So therefore it often is broken.
Right.
So that provides me more work because of my eagerness to watch the picture, movie picture. So they you see the great enthusiasm to repair that.
But did you read instruction books and all
No,
that?
no.
Then just looked at the working itself.
At the beginning,
Logic.
at the beginning, you see, there was one old Chinese monk who served, you see, third Dalai Lama. So you see, that Chinese old monk, you see, residence in Nobulinga itself.
That's right.
So at that time, you see, we consider him our greatest technician.
I see.
That old monk.
The old monk. What was his claim to fame?
He usually used to perform all these, the motion pictures, these things.
Okay.
Some small repair work he carried.
Right.
So usually, at early age, when he was alive,
Yes.
you see, when he carried some work, repairing or cleaning, I usually watch.
Watching him.
Then very soon he passed away. So then whole his responsibility
Fell on you.
fell on my shoulder.
Do you think, Your Holiness, that this particular scientific attitude that you have wouldn't be very beneficial if you were to conduct workshops and classes in which your own people also would participate and thereby inculcate the scientific temperament among the people? How do you think about that? Have you ever thought of any such sharing of this feeling?
Now, of course, you see, knowledge or study of science and technology, of course, very, very important. That's no doubt. When I was in Tibet, of course, you see, I had later means when at the time when I took the temporal the responsibility, and already I have very, very has a great sort of wish or enthusiasm, to start some modern school or things like that, study science and these things. But then very soon the things completely changed. So after we came to India, 59, I think 59 April we reached India. Then the summer, or rather I think autumn 1959, we started work for school. So we now last 38 years, we put, I think, a lot of effort for education.
Right.
And in education, firstly, we try to combine our traditional education and modern education. And then in modern education, we also put a lot of encouragement, study art and science. We very much give emphasis the study in science. So we know because of, you see, the great drawback in that field, in that respect. You see, we suffer a lot.
But do you have an opportunity yourself, Your Holiness, to study things further, or not quite?
Not much.
Not much
time.
now.
But just casually. And also, then, you see, if I you see, really make effort study science, then I think one of the drawback of me in that respect, I think my capacity of arithmetic, right? Very poor.
Calculation.
Very poor.
Well, that makes two of you.
My brain seems to say, in that respect, at least move very, very slowly.
You can encompass the world, but 2 + 2 can be a little difficult sometimes. I see it, sir. There's 1 or 2 more questions are left, and that's about it. And which is that, supposing, Your Holiness, you were given a lot of money, how would you spend it? Would you spend it?
The best restaurant? What called?
That's very little money.
There also, you see, those oracles, such as state oracle, these, of course, their categories are among the loka deva and loka devis. These are higher sort of devas and devis.
Right.
So the performer of the oracle or medium should have some meditation or more meditation. The meditation quality improve.
That's right.
These performance also improve.
So his intuition, his understanding will become better through his meditation.
No, this is something like the medium. His body, something like almost like land. Yeah.
Allows itself
land
to be occupied.
To the spirit, yes.
Yeah.
That spirit, you see, enter or occupied, you see, your body. The person's mental function at that moment no longer there. No memory, no karuda, conscious.
So he doesn't
No
remember
conscious.
after it's over what has happened. And that is the truth.
Yes.
It's not acting.
Quite often, you see, when say I receive, you see, this oracle, then afterward, that's
We can't, it's somewhere else.
we have to wait.
What is it actually? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a car. I'm sorry.
Stage car. There's horn, there's a cow.
I'm sorry. I would never have said it.